missile. Our Satan is the name of the Russian intercontinental ballistic missile. It is in every respect the most powerful missile in the world, weighing more than 210 tons and over 34 meters long. The missile system with this ICBM is designed to hit all kinds of targets, including those protected by modern missile defenses. The flight speed of this missile reaches more than 5 miles per second, which provides it with the ability to fly from Moscow to New York in 18 minutes. An important advantage is the ability to use separable warheads and maneuverable monoblock warheads. On board, one missile can be 10 warheads with a power of 55 kilotons, and then the missile can fly 7,000 miles, which is almost equal to the diameter of the Earth. If 10 such warheads attack New York City, it would have a target area of more than 1,000 square miles and would kill about 5 million people. Or there could be one more powerful nuclear warhead on board, 20 megatons, in which case the missile could travel 10,000 miles, which exceeds the diameter of the Earth by as much as a third. If a 20 megaton nuclear warhead attacks New York, it could look like this. A massive nuclear explosion would kill about 5 million people, and the fallout would travel up the entire coast and reach the Canadian border. The power of a salvo by a division of the Strategic Missile Forces armed with Satan is equal to the 13,000 bombs detonated at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. 15 missiles of the complex were guaranteed to destroy the entire industrial potential of the United States.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to start this lesson by giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, taught us this truth, and Shalom to all the Achim in this truth and sincerity, starting with the 144,000 and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which we're fighting to be a part of. This is the brother Chabar Yakal coming back, Lord willing, with another quick and edifying lesson. And as you see from the video, this lesson is going to be going into the nuclear missiles, all right? The ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, the hypersonic missiles, whatever you want to call them, going to be going into how, ultimately these nukes are a part of Bible prophecy, are a huge part of Bible prophecy, which is going into the second death that the scripture speaks about, all right, and the day that it burns as an oven, it's a plethora of scriptures that come to mind, but I'm just gonna get a few. So that was going into the Satan, which they got a Satan too. I believe that's just the Satan. They got a Satan 2 missile as well. All right, and all these different nations, they got hypersonic missiles. As you saw in the beginning, they got missiles with multiple warheads within. See, so not every missile. In the past, years ago, you had scoffers saying, "Oh, there isn't even 200 million missiles," because according to Revelation chapter 9, it speaks about 200,000, which is, which through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, the Lord revealed to our apostles. That's talking about the missiles, the warheads, and specifically. So a cut to that, there isn't 200 million missiles. Well, there's missiles with multiple warheads. There's hundreds of missiles with multiple warheads, so add that up. All right, and then the video also said, they got the missiles with the one warhead, as you can see here, which is even more powerful than this one. So with 200 million missiles, let me start with that as a matter of fact. All right, because this is biblical prophecy. I'm just gonna get missile scriptures. All right. Because we got to prophesy the downfall of this place, man. That's what the prophets were set up to do. All right. Matter of fact, before I even get that, since I just said that's what the prophets were set up to do, Jeremiah chapter 28 and 8. This is what we were set up to do. We're prophesying against this evil, wicked place known as America, known in the Bible as Babylon the Great. Jeremiah 28 and 8. The prophets that hath been before me, all right, and before thee of old, before me and before thee of old, prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And in the NLT it says, spoke against many nations, always warning of war, disaster, and disease. And are we not doing that? We're warning you that these missiles aren't being created for no reason, all right? The Heavenly Father, which his name is Yahweh and his son's name is Yahweh Shai, is orchestrating everything. You know, there's nothing out of the Lord's hands. There's nothing that the scriptures haven't mentioned. Especially something as big as the ICBM, you know that the scripture is going to mention that. All right? From anything big or small, everything is in the Bible, man. All right? The RFID micro C-HIP, which is the MOTB, that's in there. Every major thing in the world is, you best believe, and even if it isn't major, even something super small is in the scriptures. All right? So that's what we were set up to do. So I'm going to get this in Revelation 9. That's what this lesson is going into. We're telling you war is coming, World War III. All right? This is Revelation 9. And I'll start at I'll get verse 12. It says, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Now the one woe is World War I. All right, the two more was World War II, which already passed. I believe it ended in 1995, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Salakia, it's way off. I meant 1945, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when, let me look that up real quick. All right. And I believe it was 1945. All right, so that's what the two more hereafter. Now we got one more to go. All right, which is World War III, the war that we're technically already in right now. You know, because a war, it doesn't start it doesn't start automatically with you know, with troops on the ground, you know, airships, bombings, but those things are happening as well. The point I was going to make is wars start financially. They start economically. All right, but at the same time, troops are being gathered up around the nations of Russia, you know, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, you know, this whole, you know, Israel and, you know, Lebanon, all these areas. You know, that's World War III brewing up before our very eyes, and that's biblical prophecy, man. And we're warning, hopefully, the elect of the nation of Israel, which are you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, the elect of you, and the Israelite foreigners, the elect of you. We're warning the elect, which is a small number in comparison to all of them. So I'm going to skip down to going into the missiles. I'm going to skip down. Revelation 9:16, it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen. Now, these aren't literal horsemen. Okay, John the Revelator, he described all the visions that the Lord showed him as best as he could with the terminology that he had in the ancient world. And he called the missiles, you know, like horsemen, because they were all, you know, if you watch an ancient movie, when the horsemen came out, they're in the formation, so to speak, you know. All the horsemen are in the formation, so that's how John saw the missiles in the vision that he saw on the island of Patmos. He saw the missiles like all in line in the formation. The scripture says none shall break their rank. So that means all the missiles are going to be in order, aligned, you know, in the formation. And the Spirit of the Lord is going to be on those missiles. You know, the Spirit of the Lord is going to override those missiles, and it's going to be a supernatural fire when those missiles hit. All right. So it says, and the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And in NLT, you can see it says 200 million. So there's 200 million nuclear warheads that's going to wipe Babylon the Great, which is aka America, out. It says, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and jacinth. All right. Gotta be careful. I don't know, there's people around here, but it says breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone. You you know, which is what the Lord used to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. But this is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, you read about that in Revelation 11. Speaks about their bodies lying in the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. Hey, we're in it right now, man. Okay? So it says, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. Okay? So the heads were like lions, because the head of a lion, that's the dangerous part. Okay? The most dangerous part of a lion is the head. So the heads of the missiles, which is the warheads, that's the most dangerous part. That's the part you got to be worried about. If they shot a missile that didn't have a warhead, you wouldn't even have to worry about that missile. Okay? Some type of bug just fucking crawled on me. Salakia. I'm at work, like all the way in the cut in the damn parking lot. All type of fucking wildlife and shit out here. Salakia, I gotta be careful. But it says, by these three was the third part of man killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. So the third part of man is the three classifications of men. All right, which I believe particularly is speaking about the sons of the wicked, because you got three classifications of men in the scriptures. You got the sons of God, which is the Israelites, you know, which we're a part of, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, also Israelite foreigners. You got the sons of men, which are the other nations, the heathens. Then you got the sons of the wicked, which is the nation of Edom. All right, the Edomites, which they're the so-called white race. So the third part of man, I believe this is, in particular, is speaking about the third part, which would be the sons of the wicked. Like I mentioned, the Edomites. That's how it's going to destroy it. Because Babylon the Great is synonymous with Edom. This is their land now. They took over. They conquered the so-called North American Indians. This is their land now, all right? So when it says it's going to slay the third part of man, it's speaking about destroying their whole land, which is America. This whole land is going to be wiped out. And all the Edomites within it is going to be wiped out. All right, then they're going to come right back by something called reincarnation, which is biblical. They're going to come back in the kingdom of heaven and be our slaves, all right? And then all the wicked Israelites, they're going to be caught up in there too, because they're following after the other nations, so they're going to die just like them. It says, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So the tails, this is how you know it's talking about the missiles, man. 'Cause when you look at a missile get launched, it's a long trail behind it. You know, if you ever seen a picture of a missile being shot at night, it's like a long, you know, trail behind the missile, and it looks like an ancient man would see that and say that's a serpent, you know. Okay. Got to remember, this is an ancient man writing this, so he's just describing it the best way he can. It says, and out of their mouths, which is the warhead, you know, they issued out fire. You know, hey, from the top it says, for their power is in their mouth, which is the warhead, and in their tails, which is the thrusting system, or the thrusters, you know, the rocket thrusters, the apparatus that they use to actually launch the missile up into, you know, up into low orbit. All right. So I'm going to get two more scriptures. Because the elect is going to be protected from that, all right? Everyone else is going to be wiped out. The 2/3, you know, Zechariah. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. This could never come out enough, all right? You know, and everyone who takes that RFID C-hip in their right hand or on the forehead, they're going to be in that fire. And they're going to be burning for a long time, all right? Not for eternity, because this isn't no, you know, wacky-tacky Christian, you know, fables. It's not going to be forever. It's going to be just a long-ass time, all right? But this is Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, which is Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, saith the Lord, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die. 2/3 of Israel, of the Israelites, the wicked Israelites. All right. But the third shall be left therein, which is the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, which at the helm of that, at the head of that is the 144,000, the governing body. And at the head of that is Yahweh Shai. All right. Verse 9, and I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. As gold is tried. So the fire that the 1/3 is going to go through is not the same fire that the 2/3 is going to go through. The fire we're going through is the fire of affliction, the furnace of affliction, if you will. But, you know, the 2/3 are going to go through that nuclear fire. That's how they're going to be purged, by actual nuclear fire. We're being purged, Lord willing, the word of the elect. We're just being purged by all manner of afflictions, by enduring, by keeping our integrity, by not sinning against Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua with our lips, by not, you know, forsaking the Lord. That's how we're being tried with that fire. That's our fire, the straight gate. The fire that these 2/3 is going to go through is actual literal fire that's going to burn them up. And they're going to be tormented in it. They shall call on my name, the elect, it says, and I will hear them. What is his name? Yahweh B'Shem Yahshua. I will say it is my people. They shall say the Lord is my power. The Lord is going to save us, man. He's going to deliver us from those missiles. I'll end off with this. I believe it's 26 and... It says, come my people, Isaiah 26 and 20. Come my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. The chambers is speaking about the chariots. A precept to this is Psalms 104 and 3. Speaks about he lays the beams of his chambers in the waters. He makes the clouds his chariots. So we're going to enter into those ships. And pursuant to 1 Corinthians 15, around verse 50, you know, we're going to be changing the twinkling of an eye. Because these bodies that we're in right now cannot go into those chariots. No way. These bodies are way too polluted. They're way too corrupted. You know, they're weak. So the Lord's going to have to change us and give us that new body, put the laws within our inward parts, and then we could go up into those ships. And that's going to be our safe haven from the missiles. It says, hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation, which is righteous anger, the Lord's anger against this place, it be overpassed. So that's how we're going to get out of here. That's how we're going to escape the wrath of the Lord, which is those missiles. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom.